All right, everybody, how are we doing today? Cobra Trading here for TCP Media, and I haven't gone ahead and done an actual Bitcoin analysis video in a little over a week now. I think I went over it like twice last week. One time I just did an overview in one of my alt videos, and then one video I had that was an actual dedicated Bitcoin analysis. So I'm going to do another dedicated Bitcoin analysis for today, just kind of go over, like what we did for the week, which is pretty much this right here. So let's go ahead and get started. Right now, this is just a clean chart. This is our RSI indicator, and this is my Stoch indicator down here. As you can see, this week we've had a lot of major price action. These two wicks right here, both above and below these candles, are really strong. And what I'd like to point your attention to is we've had kind of like a little roller coaster ride right here in terms of the exponential moving averages. Mine are set to Fibonacci levels at 8, 13, 21, and 55 if you're interested in those. And then the yellow one right here, that's my 200. I just kind of use that as a guideline for whether the market is generally bearish or bullish. But as you can see here, after we took this big tumble, obviously the 55 EMA was on top. We had this little upswing right here. And I think I broke this down earlier on a 1 hour chart, and this was a 5-wave sequence up, and then we have we had an elongated ABC DE correction. It can also be labeled AB and then X, like WXY, in here. So this was like a 5-wave sideways correction, and then we fell back down again. And then when that had happened, the 55 EMA had crossed again back on top. Now, what's happening here is that these EMA lines, especially the 55 and the lower EMAs, they've been kind of oscillating a little bit. And now what's about to happen is I'm assuming once this candle closes, if we do continue to see some upward movement here, the 55 on the next candle close, I believe, would probably end up being another bullish cross like this. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. My parabolic SARs are certainly telling me that right now we are certainly obviously in an uptrend, certainly from this candle. This was all price action within about 2 hours of itself. We basically range traded this entire range in more volume than we had in the previous 2 weeks just on this one candle, and I thought that was pretty impressive. The same thing had happened today, although this candle was a combination of shorts and longs getting liquidated, as well as futures expiring. The same thing had happened with this candle, except the quantity was greater because these were weekly futures getting liquidated, and these were quarterly futures getting liquidated. So there was a lot of really big orders that got liquidated that caused this price movement. So let me go ahead and turn off the SAR, turn on my volume indicator back. So what I want you to notice here before I start getting into anything that I've actually drawn here is just kind of taking a look at the basics. I kind of like to tear my chart down to basics when I do a more in-depth analysis, because it gives me a better idea and just kind of lets me clear my chart and clear my head and not be so confused and so caught up with Elliot wave counts and stuff like that. Sometimes the easiest and the simplest indicators are sometimes the answers are right in front of your face. As you can see here, when we bottomed out on the RSI right here at this bottom level, we had made a call here earlier, I think like a week or so ago, that the market was going to go up. That was actually a really nice pop that we ended up getting. We went sideways for the next, day and a half. And then we continued on our way up. Now, we are starting to climb up into, the overbought area up here. Normally, once Bitcoin starts reaching areas of 60 to 80, normally that's a big area to watch out for, just like on any RSI. Once you start getting up into the 60s and 70s, normally it's going to stand for reversal. Another thing that I thought was interesting is with this candle today, we had actually gone up and almost touched, like just within a couple dollars of touching this 200 MA line, which I thought was very interesting. And right now, from where this candle opened, we did pop down below and stick a wick through all of these exponential moving averages. However, this 55 EMA is acting as support. So right now with this range right here, we've got the 200 MA acting as resistance and the 500 or the 55 rather, acting as support. So I thought that that was pretty interesting. Pretty decent volume zone here. There's a lot. You can see I changed my volume indicator up a little bit just to get some more bars on there, make it a little more accurate, so you can kind of see for every little price zone what's going on here. But we're in a pretty good solid area, really good volume here. So we'll see what happens. Just as long as there's not you know, a whole bunch of people shorting the market, then I think we should be okay. But as you can see, where this wick came up, there was extremely low volume here, and that's why we did not continue to force our way upwards. There's a little pop here, then there's another dead zone, you know, and we just have all these little pockets of dead volume. I keep referring back to these because it's really been helping the bears. This is on a larger scale here. You can see this massive dip down in this volume at this level, and here again, and here again. It's really working in the favor of the bears, because if they put in more sell pressure at some of these levels, it's guaranteed that the price isn't going to reach a certain level. So it's working to the bears' favor, certainly. So let's go ahead and turn on some of the things that I did. Just to give you guys an overview, this is a 4-hour chart. This is Bitcoin on Bitfinex. What I went ahead and did was I went all the way back. To you know, this main trend here, and I went back and recharted everything. I had mentioned a couple times that I was working on, you know, basically getting a master count back for this entire wave sequence here, just to get a better idea. I ended up not liking my normally I have my trend lines drawn here. For right now I do not. I had this originally labeled as an A, B, C, D, E correction, but the relationship Fibonacci wise of the levels of that, I just didn't like. It's just too easy for it to invalidate here on this last E wave. So what I like a little bit better is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just really long, this really long sideways correction instead. It's a little better of a count for me, I feel. It works a little bit better, and it would actually be, it stands a little less of a chance of being invalidated, because we can come as low as 59.64 for a candle close, whatever this low here was. What was the slowest candle here? Open 59.75, close 59.75, close 60.33. So about, yeah, so about 59.74 we can get to without invalidating this. So it gives us the opportunity to come down a little more versus the A, B, C, D, E correction that I had for this entire thing. So I'll go ahead and get into that later on in another video. But in the first Bitcoin analysis that I did, I spent time to show you guys, okay, I drew the fib retracement from this high to this low. This was the golden zone. And then I backed up one. I did it from this high to this low. This was the golden zone. And then again from this high to this low, this was the golden zone. And I believe from here, the beginning of wave 2 to here, I believe this was the golden zone for this as well. So it was just a little too coincidental for me that was the way that it worked out. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to, I don't know about all this stuff. I mean, I just gave a general overview here. I didn't go in deeper than a 4-hour time frame for all this, because it would have looked too clustered. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and stick with this. This part is just a beautiful mess, so I haven't gotten into this part yet, but I will do that before my next video and get a count on all of this for you guys. What I want you to notice though also is I had drawn this this purple trend line here. Now this isn't part of the main big trend line that we're seeing on everybody's charts. The main big trend line would have came from these and gone this way, and the one on the top would have came from here and come down. But this is kind of like just a little trend line that I had noticed of what was happening here, because we had a low. I believe this was a higher low from here. We had a higher low, and now we have another higher low here, and this little dip right here was another higher low. So we're getting bullish signs here. We're getting consistently higher lows. So I'm thinking that if we do come back down, unless something dramatic happens, I'm thinking that maybe this trend line will hold here. However, what's forming right now, and what I personally see in this is, we came down, and we kind of had this. You can draw a line here. You can see how perfect. Shoot, let me turn that off. You can actually see how perfect this little bear pennant was right here. It's just a classic perfect triangle right here that formed. So we ended up getting a bear pennant, and then we had broken down out of that. We ended up getting another bear pennant here. We broke down out of that, and then finally we started our uptrend up. We found support down here at the 6,200 level as usual. We came back up, and again we've just been range trading in this 6550 to 6150 range here for weeks now, and we're trying to get out of it really desperately. So what's ended up happening now is this week, let me go to a day chart so it makes a little more sense when I keep talking about weeks and stuff. Go ahead and auto this. What I see personally here is just a bunch of bear flags. I'll draw this out real quick why I think this. I mean, this right here, this looks that to me looks like a bear flag, and then bam, we continued it again here, and it looks like we're forming another bear flag here again. To come back down, and we're getting this little, like sideways 5-wave sequence here of bear flags. And I think it's kind of weird that, that's happening so often while we're down in this range. That's what makes me still feel really bearish right now, is because we can't seem to get a bullish pattern out of this. We keep forming these bear pennants and these bear flags, and we just keep, as soon as we come up, we keep bouncing back down, and this has been a major area of resistance here, and we don't have any major volume to support a push up from here. We've been stuck in here for a long time now. This goes back to August 8th. We had one pop up where we thought we were finally going to come out of here. We got rejected by the 200 MA, and I believe this actually punctured through the Bollinger Band too. We got rejected by the upper Bollinger Band, and then we fell right back down into this range again, and we've been here ever since. This is basically the first week of September 6th, all the way to now. We've been in here almost an entire month now. And it's starting to get frustrating for a lot of traders, and all we can do is just try to keep our patience and just try and trade as best as we can without having any emotions involved in the trading there. So the last time that we had bounced up to this level, the RSI was about the same. We're in the bottom half of the RSI, but we got rejected. I'm hoping, and a lot of other people are too, that we're testing this level again. Hopefully, we can get a close and finally turn this 6,500 level, this 6,550, and turn that into support again to try and start making our way back up. Personally, I still feel long term like that's not going to happen. I still really feel like this A and this B here, the purple one, I still really feel that this is just a really long A, B, and a really super long C all the way down, that's in here from this main larger trend. If this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sideways correction, the 5 would still land us down here, past whatever I said before. The it was over here somewhere. We gotta have a close below like 57, 55 or something like that to validate this. So we'll really see what happens over the next over this next week or so. And in that next week, once I go down to a 4-hour time frame or whatever, I'm gonna go ahead and complete this count in here as best I can. It's kind of a really vicious, just dirty, kind of movement here, just really sideways and choppy. So we'll see what happens with that. On this 4-hour chart, we just crossed over bearish, mostly just because of these big candles that we've been having. But the RSI on the 4-hour is starting to creep up pretty high. However, on this day chart, we're crossing bullish. So we might be seeing some bullish divergence here. Maybe we can start coming back up a little bit. This to me on a day time frame, may be a very small 1, 2. We might be coming up for a 3. And then who knows if we can break through here. Maybe we'll be using the 65.50 as support to come up for a small 5 before correcting back down again, and hopefully we don't break back through the support. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to make these videos too long, but basically, long term, I still am, mid to long term, I'm still pretty bearish on this. A lot of people are starting to get frustrated with people still saying, oh, we're going to come down, but everything tells me in all the analysis that I've done that it's just not over yet. And one of the things that really leads me to say that, if I take all this stuff off here, is once you really zoom out on this, and you see all of 2017, this just major impulse bull run, we really haven't corrected nothing compared to where we came from. We've got all these major levels of support here that we haven't even thought about testing yet. We've tested here at 59 and, a little lower, 57-ish. We haven't come down here. We haven't come down here. So this is a pretty, if this is just a really long sideways correction, which I hope it is, then, hopefully soon we'll be seeing a reversal here to kind of come back up. This kind of looks like a sweeping arc to me that we're going to start coming back up here soon, since we've getting these consecutively, we had a low, low, lower low, lower low, higher low, higher low. So, maybe this is starting to come back up now. Who knows, maybe this might even turn into like some kind of head and shoulders pattern or whatever. We'll have to see what happens later on, but for right now, that's where I stand on Bitcoin. I hope that this kind of gave you just a little more in-depth kind of overview and helps you kind of make a trade decision. Right now, normally when the market does ETF decisions and things like that, we've got one coming up here on the 30th. And that's also expected to be delayed, which is another reason why I think that that's going to have an effect on the market. So we'll have to wait here and see. And when I do my analysis next week, we'll know for sure. So if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And our magazine, also for the September issue, you can get that for free on our website at tcpmedia.org. And you can also find out more information about joining our private Discord group, where we do private trading education. Pretty soon I'm going to start doing one-on-one education for an additional fee, as well as, doing trade calls on, we do scalping calls on BitMEX, as well as longer term swing trades and stuff on altcoins and stuff like that. The name of the game is to accumulate more Bitcoin, and not only do we practice that, but that's what we teach as well, so that people aren't just relying on us to make calls. We teach you everything that you need to know to get started trading if you're newer to this kind of stuff. So if that's what you're into, feel free to DM me on Twitter. My DMs are always open. And that's pretty much all I got for you today, guys. I hope that you're being safe out there trading. If you are going to try and short this, just make sure that you set a pretty tight stop loss. I wouldn't go higher than like maybe 65.30 or 65.80 for a stop loss here. So all right, guys, that's all I got. Have a nice afternoon and happy trading.